It's Tuesday, which means we've got a top 10 Tuesday for you, the 10 best teams in the NFL after week 7. Starting at the top here, number 10. I got to be honest. Another tough week. We're starting to really kind of figure out who these teams are. And it's fun. Like, I love doing this list every week. Number 10, a team that I still don't believe in after watching them play well on Sunday Night Football. We've got the Pittsburgh Steelers. Still not convinced. They won big on Sunday Night Football in front of everybody, so people are going to go crazy about them. But I just don't trust Russell Wilson. It's like, well, Jonathan, he played really well on Sunday night. Yeah, but I watched him be really bad the last 2 years in Denver. With that being said, despite getting off to a slow start, the Steelers scored 37 points. That cannot be ignored. That's the most that they've scored all year this year. The defense, still one of the best in the NFL as well. That's not the question about this team. The question is, can they be good offensively? Are they good enough offensively to beat some of the better teams in the NFL? Because we know that this defense is going to keep even the best offenses from going crazy. And look, if Russell Wilson in this offense can be consistent, this Steelers team is going to be a tough team to beat, but I've got to see it consistently before I move them up on the list. Number 9, the Chicago Bears. The Bears are 4-2. I had them 8th last week. They're coming off a bye. Caleb Williams is figuring it out slowly but surely. Okay, he's had 4 straight good games. Okay, we probably don't remember them because, like I said, they're coming off a bye. Now, the good games came against the Colts, Rams, Panthers, and Jaguars. Not exactly the best defenses in the world. Either way, he has clearly gotten better. What a concept. A guy got some reps and he got better. I still have questions about Caleb Williams because his best games have come against bad defenses. No other way to really put it. So we'll kind of continue to monitor Caleb Williams' big game this Sunday between the Bears and the Commanders. Cannot wait to watch that one. Number 1 overall pick, hopefully against the number 2 overall pick. Jayden Daniels banged up his ribs against the Panthers on Sunday. We'll kind of see whether or not he plays, but hopefully he does because that game's going to be awesome. When it comes to the Bears defense, say what you want about Matt Eberflus. He's got a good defense. Bears have been good defensively ever since they traded for a pass rusher last year. So we know this defense is good. If the offense can continue to improve, if Caleb Williams can continue to get better, then they're going to wind up being one of the better teams in the NFL. Number 8, the Houston Texans. 5-2, lost a close game to the Packers on Sunday, despite C.J. Stroud throwing for 84 yards and completing 10 of 21 passes. In C.J. Stroud's defense, this Houston Texans team is really banged up. But still, 10 of 21, 84 yards, not a great look. This offense of the Houston Texans, they really miss Nico Collins. Okay, I know they have Stephon Diggs, but the Bills got rid of him for a reason. Everyone points to the off-the-field stuff. But my thing is, on the field, they really went away from him the later that they got into the year. Like, the targets just kind of slowly disappeared. Okay, so I don't think Stephon Diggs is, as good as advertised. I think I said that, but before the year started, I can't really remember. But the Texans needed him to step up on Sunday, and he just didn't. Okay, part of that is because this Packers defense is good, but the Texans offense, a little underwhelming on Sunday. Defensively, they're good, but the Texans are very similar to the Colts. A lot of injuries on the defensive side of the ball. With that being said, like, they still held a dynamic Packers offense to 24 points, turned them over a couple times. They did their job. C.J. Stroud on the offense just couldn't get it done. When the Texans are healthy, they're one of the better teams in the NFL. The issue is they aren't healthy. So they're sitting at 8th, and they probably won't get healthy because this is the NFL. Number 7, I've got the Washington Commanders. 5-2. They crushed the Panthers on Sunday. That game was not close. 40-7. That was the final score. We didn't learn anything. The only thing we learned is that if Marcus Mariota has to play, then he and that offense will be just fine. Okay, this offense ran like clockwork, okay, with Marcus Mariota back there playing quarterback. They scored 40. They only gave up 7. I know it's the Panthers, but guys on the Panthers are getting paid. Okay, so like that is impressive. I don't want to get too carried away, though. The biggest takeaway from that game was Jaden Daniels getting hurt. That was the concern with him. Okay, he weighs less than me, and I am not 6'3". Okay, I'm 5'8", and I weigh more than Jaden Daniels. That is an issue, and he got hit hard. And if you watched him play at LSU, he didn't get down, he didn't slide. He's been better at that at the NFL level, but like it wasn't, unnormal for him to get lit up in college. And that's what happened on Sunday. He hurt his ribs. Hopefully he plays Sunday because, like I said earlier, I want to see him and Caleb Williams play against each other. That would just be it's just going to be a lot of fun to watch. The NFL flexed it into that 425 slot so that everyone can see it. So hopefully he's good to go for Sunday. Number 6, the Buffalo Bills are 5-2. They beat a bad Titans team pretty handily on Sunday. The game got off to a rocky start, but eventually the Bills figured it out. Josh Allen still hasn't thrown an interception this year. Everyone's talking about Lamar Jackson because he's been on in prime time multiple times this year. But Josh Allen's playing incredible football right now. He's playing arguably the best football of his career. And to make things better, they just traded for Amari Cooper, who's going to make them better. He had a good day, 4 receptions, a touchdown, 64 yards. But Keon Coleman, rookie receiver out of Florida State, was a major beneficiary of Amari Cooper's presence on Sunday. He had, I think, 4 receptions for like 125 yards. The pass game looked so much better against a good Titans pass defense, one of the 10 best in the NFL heading into that game. Okay, so this Amari Cooper addition is a big deal. It's only going to make this Bills offense with a great quarterback even better. James Cook struggled a bit on Sunday, but he's one of the better running backs in the NFL. He's going to continue to contribute despite a rough performance on Sunday. The Bills defense still banged up, slowly getting healthier. Okay, when they can, just have, a normal amount of starters play, like they're going to be really good defensively. They'll be I think, they'll be up there as one of the 3 best teams in the AFC. I think they are right now the 3rd best team in the AFC, but once they get healthy defensively, I think we'll talk about them like the Chiefs and the Ravens, with a team with legitimate Super Bowl aspirations. But as of right now, they aren't healthy, and we're taking them as they are. So they sit at 6th in my top 10 Tuesday, the best 10 teams in the NFL after week 7. Number 5, the Minnesota Vikings. 5-1, lost their first game of the year on Sunday to the Lions. Our Kirk Cousins bet of the week. Love it that cashed. Anyway, even though they lost, this is still one of the best teams in the NFL. They lost by 2. Okay. And the difference in the game on Sunday was the interception that Sam Darnold threw. Right. They were in field goal range. Brian Branch made a great play, like coming down, didn't take a great angle, ended up having to dive and make the interception. Like if he takes a better angle, which you would have thought that he would have because he's a really good player, like it's an easy pick. So, and that's kind of the concern about the Vikings, right? Sam Darnold, who is playing the best football of his career. Like it's not even a question, right? He's been really good, but I think this isn't a team really with Super Bowl aspirations because of Sam Darnold. And I want to, like, maybe it's because, he's 27. He's been in the NFL for like 6 years now. This is like his 4th team. So maybe that's clouding my judgment a bit, but he's got to be better if the Vikings want to be real Super Bowl contenders. Like he wasn't better than Jared Goff on Sunday. And if he had been, then the Vikings would have won that game. So he's got to be better if they want to be a legitimate Super Bowl contender. But I still have him as the fifth best team in the NFL because this defense is really good. I know they gave up 31, but the Lions are arguably the best offense in the NFL right now. Okay, Jared Goff's just on another level. I've got thoughts on him here in a couple minutes when I talk about where I have the Lions ranked, but the defense will bounce back. Brian Flores is one of the 2 best defensive coordinators in the NFL. It's him or it's Spags down there in Kansas City. So Vikings They'll be fine. 5-1. They sit at 5th for Top 10 Tuesday, the 10 best teams in the NFL after week 7. Number 4, the Green Bay Packers. 5-2. Nice win over Houston on Sunday. Jordan Love makes me nervous. Like, he just, every time he throws the football, I'm expecting either the best throw I've ever seen or the worst throw I've ever seen. And, he threw 2 picks on Sunday that weren't great. And then he comes back and he makes multiple throws that just don't make any sense. I'm sure you've seen it somewhere on social media where they're like on the 20-yard line or something like that. And he just rears back and throws the ball as hard as he can. And he throws it basically through the hands of a Houston Texans defender. And Tucker Kraft, who's been awesome this year for them at the tight end position, makes this just incredible catch. Not really incredible, but he lays out, catches it. The throw is just ridiculous. He's got a lot of Brett Favre in him, right? Just an absolute gunslinger, which can be good, right? Like, you can win games that way. Like, Brett Favre won a lot of games that way. But it's also nerve-wracking, and it could be a bad thing. You can lose games that way as well. So far, it's been good for him and the Packers. Once again, they're 5-2. The defense is incredibly underrated. They lead the NFL in takeaways. They have a great secondary. Okay, they get after the passer. I like their linebackers. If Jordan Love can just kind of rein in the turnovers a bit, then this is easily a Super Bowl contender. But right now, I've got some questions because Jordan Love just kind of turns the ball over a little bit too much for my liking. Number 3, the Detroit Lions. They are 5-1. Big win over the Vikings on Sunday on the road. They now sit atop the best division in the NFL. I dropped them last week, right? I think I had them ranked 3rd 2 weeks ago. Last week, I ranked them 6th because of the Aiden Hutchinson injury. That is still an issue for them. Okay, like, I know that they had 4 sacks against the Vikings, but I don't know. Like, I want to see more before I'm like, yeah, they'll be fine without one of the best pass rushers in the NFL. Here's the thing, though. I wouldn't have dropped them if I just knew that Jared Goff wasn't going to throw another incompletion for the rest of his life. Like, this dude has just been incredible. Okay, I said before the year that the Lions were going to be the 1 or 2 seed and that he would have a chance to win the MVP. As of today, Jared Goff and Lamar Jackson are the front runners for MVP right now. Okay, and look, it's as much as concerned as I am about Aiden Hutchinson not playing, and like, you have to get after the passer, and if you can get after the passer with 4, that's a huge advantage. You know that. I don't have to tell you that. It does, like, the Lions aren't going to lose if no one can stop them. Okay, the Vikings defense, which is one of the best in the NFL, came out, stifled the Lions offense for their first 3 or 4 drives, and then 5 out of the next 6 drives, the Lions scored on every single one. Like, they scored 31 points against a really good Vikings defense, and if they continue to do that, they don't need Aiden Hutchinson. They're just going to outscore everybody because this Lions offense is incredible. Number 2. On my top 10 Tuesday, best 10 teams after week 7, I've got the Baltimore Ravens, 5-2. They handled the Buccaneers last night. I know they only won by 10. The Buccaneers made it close late, though, even though this game wasn't close. Like, Lamar Jackson had a backward pass that the Buccaneers scored on. They then had an onside kick that the Buccaneers recovered, and then they scored again. Like, the Ravens were up 34-10 at one point in the 4th quarter. That game was not close. The Ravens defense is getting better. They turned the Buccaneers over a couple times last night. I don't have to tell you about how great Derrick Henry's been because he's just all over social media. Lamar Jackson is again playing at an MVP level during the regular season. We'll see if he can do that in the playoffs because he hasn't done that at all in his career. Number 1, Kansas City. What a surprise. They are 6-0. I don't think it's possible for them to lose. His defense, one of the 3 best in the NFL. Okay, them, the Steelers, and the Vikings, those are the 3 best defenses in the league. Okay, like Spagnuolo, like one of the 2 best defensive coordinators in the NFL. It's him or Flores. Okay, Patrick Mahomes is playing the worst football of his career right now. He leads the NFL in interceptions thrown. He's thrown 8. And the Chiefs are still undefeated. They should end up being 9-0 because they play the Raiders, Buccaneers, and Broncos their next 3 games. Then they play the Bills. Okay? It feels like they're going to three-peat at this point in the year. They just feel inevitable because even though Mahomes is playing bad, he makes just enough plays at the end of the game. But there's still over half the season left, so we'll see if they can continue to find ways to win despite Patrick Mahomes turning the football over way too much. Teams that I considered but ended up not putting in: the Eagles, they're 4-2. Don't trust Sirianni. The Seahawks, but they're 1-3 in their last 4. Part of that's injuries, but the best teams figure out ways to win even when they aren't healthy. So left the Seahawks because of that. Almost put the Falcons on there. They were awful on Sunday. They got blown out by Seattle. I don't trust the Falcons defense at all. The Bengals, they're 3-4. They're kind of slowly creeping up. I want to see a little more from this defense. They played the Giants and the Browns. The defense looked good against them, but let's be honest, everyone's defense looks good against the Giants and the Browns. Want to see a little bit more from Cincinnati before I rank them, especially defensively, because they've got some issues there. Look, if they started 0-3 and still made the playoffs, wouldn't be surprised in the slightest because they got Joe Burrow. And yeah, we'll see. So that is Top 10 Tuesday, the 10 best teams in the NFL after week 7.